We're gonna do a quick historical breakdown of actually how to fast loot because I'm getting pissed off at all of these other videos talking about fast looting when in reality there's much faster ways. So here we're on the MCSR practice map. In the overworld section there's kind of this area where you can practice your bastion looting, and it's just quite useful if you're trying to practice these inputs. The first method that people normally learn is what I like to call Feinberg looting, where you basically just either grab junk and then you can just double click while holding shift any other um, block that you wanna keep in your inventory. And this is quite nice because after the first input of getting this magma cream, it's pretty much the fastest way of looting anything else. Since you're basically just double clicking without any other key inputs. And this is quite useful because afterwards, you don't need to really you're hovering on this item here, but you don't actually need to exit out of it or put it back in your inventory or in the chest. By just exiting the chest itself, it's gonna drop it on the ground. And since in bastions you're just going really fast, it doesn't matter, if you just leave this on the ground. People often use their flint and steel as a replacement for this, so that let's say this iron ingot was my flint and steel, and you want to loot this, they would just, um, from what I can tell, kind of just replace any of these with their flint and steel, take it, and then just loot everything else, just like this. And then they can just exit the chest without worrying about picking up the flint and steel, because they're going to have fire charges from the trades. So that's method one of fast looting, which I'll just call the Feinberg method. Next method is the conventional method, which I think is absolute trash, but for documentary purposes, I'm gonna teach. So basically, all you gotta do is you're gonna hold shift and you're gonna hover on any block you want. You're gonna choose any of these nine key hotkeys in your hotbar. Normally by default it's 1 to 9, but um, you're supposed to change it if you're speedrunning. Or you can also use your offhand key, which is I think F by default. So how you do it is, let's say I'm using my offhand key. So I hover on it, I'm gonna go offhand, click, offhand, click, all while holding shift. So doing it fast, it falls onto the rightmost slot in your inventory, just like this. As long as your hotbar slot or offhand is empty, whichever one you're using for the fast looting, it's gonna work pretty reliably. Um, I'm not really good at it because I genuinely think it's shit. Um, but it works, I guess. It's just that if you have an item already in your offhand, see, it's kind of fucked, right? Um, it's gonna switch your offhand block onto your hotbar, which is like -1 slot. It's just really not that good. Obviously you can use the empty slots too if you don't want to disrupt your offhand. So for example, um, just like that, right? But yeah, that's the normal way of fast looting, which I don't know. I think it's bullshit. I think there's better. Which moving on to the next, speaking of better, we have shift fast looting, which is what I use. And you basically just hold shift, which you can literally just hold shift anytime, even while running around, so that as soon as you get into the chest, you're already holding shift. And then what you do is left click any item you want, and then you wanna release shift, left click again, and then press shift again. So doing it fast, it's very simple and it does not disturb any of your hotkeys, hotbar slots, nor your offhand, which is why I like it so much. it's low-key like one less input because you're not actually using any other key other than shift and left click, which is why it's better. And the only thing is that it's technically harder than like the other conventional way um, because this is timing based where you're supposed to left click right after you release shift rather than, you know, be able to just spam keys, which you can really easily do with the offhand way. Um, but once you get used to it, it's like kind of instant. And to me, doing this basically just feels like double clicking everything into my inventory. It doesn't even feel like I am like having to time my shift key. Um, so yeah, that's like the better way, and it's better because also, if I just get like these arrows, I don't need any of these slots, nor my offhand. I can just loot stuff and it's just gonna go well. Um, Whereas if I do it the other way, um, and for example, I just fill my offhand like this, it's gonna be, let me see. Okay, it's gonna be like this, where my offhand disappears, or it's going to be, um, like that, which makes it so that this like slot disappears. Which it's very annoying. I mean, technically, I guess you can just have like an empty slot, but that's just why I prefer my way with shift. Um, I don't know, it's low-key better. And then there's the fastest way of fast looting, which is, I only learned it from Dugal, from watching his VODs. I don't really see many people doing it. Perhaps it is something common within top runners though. I just don't watch any other runner. Um, which is basically fast looting the conventional way, except instead of like putting into a random slot like offhand, you're actually gonna take the rightmost empty slot and you're gonna use that so that you don't need to do the first input. So for example, how this works is the rightmost empty slot right now is the 9 slot, and so how you do it is you go um, click, 9 slot, click. So it's literally just 3 inputs, of course, but while holding shift. So just like that. And you'll see that if I try to do it with other items, with the 9 slot, it gets fucked, right? Which is why you have to basically switch between the first of all the 9, and then the 8, and then the 7, and then the 6, you know, all the way down. Because items go to the rightmost slot. So it takes a lot of practice, and it also depends on your keybinds, right? You're very limited by your keybinds to do this. My keybinds are decent enough where like um, my fingers kind of don't have to move too much to move between like slots like 9 to 6. Um, and this is very useful for specifically on shipwreck seeds or BT seeds, where you're just kind of looting with, you know, that's gonna be an empty hotbar, and so doing this is gonna be like objectively faster, uh, just because it's less inputs. Um, one less input per looting, which let's say you have iron nuggets, gold, gold nuggets, iron itself. So that's like kind of 4 slots, right? And so you save one key per slot, and so that's 4 keys you save, 4 inputs you save. And like this is very muscle memory dependent, which is nice. It just looks so fucking fast. But yeah, it's kind of hard because you have to really press the slot. Anyways, that is it. Just wanted to document like actual fast looting metas and all of them that exist out there because I get pissed off when they only show the like conventional way where it's not even that good. But yeah, that is all.